Hey guys. Hey Craig. Joseph, g'day. Joseph, it's just on 8 p.m. here. John McMahon, g'day. Hi Mike, good to see ya. Change your name from Cornwall, UK. It's the only way I know you is his Mike from Cornwall. That's awesome. Well done. Profile pictures next. Stephen Lang, g'day. Warren, g'day. He was, yeah. Tom, g'day. Gary, hello. Good to see you. Kevin, good to see you. Gosh, there's a mixed lot. That's all we can say. Yeah, gosh. This is probably better than the pub because we wouldn't associate with any of you at the pub. So anyway. Did we see Tinker come in? I didn't, but I'm sure he's there. Oh, good day. Yes, I saw the email. I think I ended up a reply tonight. Thanks, Tinker. The pubs don't let you, not out the all way. Anyway. Hey JB, g'day. I've been messing with this tonight. I had a half day today because no one's shopping at the shops after about lunchtime, which is a bit of a pain, really, because we're still open. It's just that nobody bothers to come to do anything else. So no one's buying groceries because everyone believes that the grocery stores don't have any groceries. And it's pretty much a nuisance. But anyway. Dennis, g'day. Hey, we didn't upset you too much last time. Probably upset Dale. Didn't mean to. Very good to see you. Peter, good to see you. And Stephen. Dale can take it, but he does get an awful lot of it. I feel bad about that because Dale does tend to get a lot more of it than anyone else I ever met, to be honest, especially on YouTube. And he's such a great guy, really. Now, I've been messing with this. You've all seen that. My reversing system needs work and needs some guards and stuff like that. And I've been putting all that off until I got this built, which has been about 5 years so far. But it's actually done now, so... Christopher Arnold, good to see you. Duncan, g'day. Good to see you live the other night. That's awesome. Duncan does a live on Instagram. Stefan, good day. These bits are all dirty because they've actually done some work. Not sure about these plastic gears, and I'm going to need a couple of bigger ones to get some slower feed. So I'm thinking probably the answer is to get a 120 and a 127. Because I've been working out some, as much as I said I wasn't going to, I've got a 20 and a 21, and that serves for about half my imperial threads. There's some that I can't get. So I'm going to probably because slow feed could do with a bigger gear, I think I'm going to make a 120 and a 127 and use them for power feed as well. So that, I think, is the answer after messing around with this for a bit. Guards, Warren. Yeah, it was. Was it? The thing's a bit dangerous, really. That's where I'm at with it. It's kind of a bit fearsome all running there with no cover on it. I'm not really a guard person, but the more belts and gears and things that I get whirring around at high speed, the more I think that it really is a good idea at this point. So we're probably going to put guards all over it. We're going to put a dust cover over the fasten loose pulleys up the top. We're going to put a swarf guard around the belts where they come through the bench. We're probably going to put a main belt guard on the headstock belt at this point, something like that. And we're going to put a guard over this banjo of some sort. So that's another 100 years work. But anyway, that's what we're going to do. Stefan, had we form the main steel block, we drilled a series of holes and we got it, cut it out with hacksaw, and then we filed it up and finished it off with emery paper. No, we didn't. This is wire EDM cut. JB from Oz did that in Western Australia. So that's how this was done. Go and check out his videos. It's a pretty nice job. I'm very much indebted to him. I bumped the plug. It's right here and it's a bit of a pain. But there we go. We'll start that up again. It's Gary. It's not even an occupational health and safety thing. It's this time it's a common sense thing. I can handle 2 belts and an open chuck, right? I've got that much common sense, and I've got that much awareness, a spatial awareness, I guess you would say. However, when we've got 3 belts at least, and probably eventually 4, and a dozen open gears and some universal shafts and things like that, it's probably a really good idea, I think, to have a couple of guards on 1 or 2 of them that we don't have to worry about. That's where we are. Like anti-welding but precise. That's awesome. Awesome, Chris. Craig's mill's coming along too. Do you have a look at Craig's series on installing a DRO? It's pretty awesome. He's done a great job. So I had some bits come today for this, which is awesome. Got some locking collars, which haven't actually put it. Probably should do that. Haven't put a key in there yet. That's almost a complete set of gears, except for a 120 and a 127 tooth, which we need. And neither of them are going to be particularly fun to cut out, I don't think. There's still one on here. I forgot I never tightened this up. I really haven't tightened any of them up. So finish this shaft. Thanks, Tinker. Absolutely, Stephen. Always videos. I believe that you're a patron, so you should be getting notifications. There's something wrong if you're not. So I got these nice German shaft collars, which I like. I can buy them off the shelf, but here in locally, but I haven't got tolerances and specifications and spec sheets and things like that for them like I do for these. And these are a pretty nice fit on the shaft that I machine, so it's nice to be able to do that. So they come today. Actually weren't real cheap, but they're kind of nice. And I made this shaft with a key. This is counterboard here. Don't know if that's a smart idea or not, but I thought if that sat down inside there a bit, I've made this collar a little bit thicker, and if this sits down inside here a little bit, it'll keep some of the dirt out and probably give a space for some oil, so we've got a little bit of like a thrust action happening there as well. Don't know if that's actually how it works, but that's the theory. Yeah, it's kind of 12 months ahead. Sorry, guys. It's a whole video series ahead, actually, which is about 12 months. So this is pretty nice here. This is really a bit super. I like this. I'm very pleased with this shaft. Thank you, Stefan, for talking me out of putting needle rollers in here and putting bronze bush, because I think it's a better job. I really appreciate that. Stefan's the brains behind this. He just doesn't like to admit it, or he won't tell anyone. So I am. I've put a oil port in here. You can't see that. Hang on. Let's find some lights. That's better. Sorry about that. Put oil port in here. So that's one touch oil for this shaft. So that's really nice. I like that. That's it exactly, Stefan. Really appreciate that. Hey Ted, good to see you. Now, this has some adjustment. So we've got an eccentric bush in here, as you've all seen, and then these are on a slide. However, I got today crazy amount of parts in this job. I got today a couple of these, and I wanted one for the dividing head as well. They're just a spring loaded. There's no actual lock or anything on them, and I don't think we really need it, to be honest. Bought one for the dividing head and one for this. They're 10mm metric fine thread. They're made by Banter in Germany. Guess they're made in Germany, but anyway. And they're really pretty nice. This is a polycarbonate or some sort of a fiberglass reinforced plastic. It's really nice. And this is a black metal of some sort. It's cold. I don't know. It's not a lot of weight in it, so it could be aluminium. I'm not sure. Anyway, they come with a locking nut, which I'm probably not going to use. And it just screws in here like this, so that'll operate that nicely. Now, I've run into a problem here this afternoon messing around with this. Can't believe I actually built this thing, and it looks like this. But I made a bush just to go in here and thought, well, I'll just drill these with a battery drill. But it's not really working because, for one, you can't really depth everything and hold everything solid. I put a clamp on here and a clamp across here to hold this and got it somewhere near, but then our depth is a bit the wrong way and we're getting a scratch line here and it's only been pulled out 3 or 4 times. So not happy with that. It looks like I bought one. Some of it does. Not happy with that. It's a bit of a problem. So what I'm going to do, here we go. And probably what I should have planned to do anyway, and I sort of did plan to do it, but I was hoping that I'd get away without it. I'm going to get a bit of O1, a bit of gauge plate, and bend it to shape and drill 3 holes in it and put slotted holes in it so that it's adjustable, and that'll give us some adjustment. To be honest, if we get the top one adjusted right, then we can adjust the bottom one to match, and the middle one doesn't match. It doesn't matter very much at all. So it would be nice to have 1/8 of an inch or something adjustment on these holes. So what I'm going to do is get an end mill and put a groove in here, or a slot, nicely, and then I'm going to make a cover plate that goes over it with 2 slotted holes to hold it in place, I think. And something, probably a ridge in it against that edge to stop it tilting around. Don't know about that yet. I'll draw something up. And then give it nice bell mouth opening, I think, would be really nice, so that it clicks in and out nice and positive and smartly. And harden and temper it, polish it, put that on there with 2 screws and slotted holes. And then we can adjust this one so that our gap and our gash on our backlash on this gear is right on the top one. And from there, we can adjust this one so that it's right. And from there, we can adjust this one so it was right. So from there, we can make the other 2 work properly, I think. And then the middle position, which is just the negative, has got about, seriously, it's got 3/16 of an inch, 4 or 5 millimeters or something play. So that can be just in the middle. Hey Richard, good to see you. You're back, Mike. G'day, Rust Knox. It's good to see you. So that's what I'm going to do, I think. I've got under here, I've got about 3 millimeters. I reckon I can make something probably 1.6, something like that. Put a bend in it and then file it up nice on the outside and probably the inside too to make it fit. We could probably even nearly machine it, but it's a bit more messing around. Put a couple of slotted holes in it, get it all on here and operating, polish it up, harden and temper it, and then polish it and put that on there, and I think that'd be really nice. That's what I'm at with that. Good to see you, Rustinox. You've got a month to go and check out Rustinox's channel and go and check out his... Actually, you've got longer than that because he's always got good content. But you've got a month to go and check out the Coat Hanger 2020 hashtag and decide that you're going to make something. So you should go and do that. Search Coat Hanger 2020. That's a really good option. That's what you need to do. Loads of great entries. That's exactly right. How do you cut a video from 43 minutes to 15 minutes? You cut out all the arms and cut out all the see, that's another 5 seconds, and go and time a Tom Lipton video, work out how much he says that isn't relevant to the conversation, and cut them out, and you'll see that it's much, much shorter than it should be. All the dead space, all the machining, except the occasional cut, and all the ums and ahs and small talk about the weather. Stefan said it. Cut out all the machining. That's exactly right. Or fast forward it. Improve your lighting, and yeah, don't look at my videos. Go and look at a clickspring video and see what you get. Break it down and break it down and see what you got left. Then walk yourself through the steps of actually making a part that he makes, and you'll see how much he's chopped out. Poor Tom. Yeah, you're right. I think most people skip machining. I like to put a lot in because, or put some back in because, honestly, I'm kind of machining content, but I feel like I don't make enough videos with machining content, but I do chop a lot of them out. I thought it was you last week, Craig. Anyway. Yeah, check Blondie Hack's videos is really good too. She's excellent. That guy named Stefan in Germany, he's fantastic. He's got some really good content too. Good balance. That's what they've got. I'm going to say that Tom Lipton's got good balance too, and I can watch an hour of Tom Lipton, no worries at all. And he's got a lot of good content, but you've got to know what you're talking about to get away with that. Someone mentioned that coat hanger videos are sort of conspicuous. This is some important ones missing. I'm going to give you a sort of a sneak preview here. This is all you're getting, so you probably want to be ready for it. This is all you're getting, so if you miss it, you miss it, right? So far, this is what I've got. So there you go. So there you go. That's the... Yeah, Rust Knox, I watched the whole video. Stefan, I watched the whole video. Tom Lipton, I watched the whole video. Tommy Gun Machining, I watched the whole video. Who else? Stephen Lang, I watched the whole video. Dennis Nolan, I watched the whole video. Go Create. G'day, Go Create. Go Create, I watched the whole video. Craig, I watched the whole video. Most of you guys, I sit down and watch videos. Very sad, but there you go. If I've missed you, I'll probably watch all your video too. Some of... Yeah, anyway. Gosh, some of us have lives. There we go. I know that nobody watches my videos start to finish because I can see the statistics. I know that the average watch time is less than 5 minutes. I don't make 5-minute videos, so someone either fast forwards, doesn't watch it all, gets sick of it, or just watches the end. There you go. How can you watch Tom Lipton with the sound off? Thanks, Stephen. You know how to weed infringe and influence people, huh? I guess everyone got my sneak preview of the coat hanger video. JB's I watch all the way. If you missed it, you missed it. Now, what was I going to say? Yeah, a couple of things happening. I put on a 2 times speed's the answer. Life's too short for watching stuff in real time and waiting for me to think about stuff. 2 times speed's definitely the way to go. And it's a good way to improve your English if it's not your first language too. Watching Mr. Crispin's videos, a couple of them. Yes, there's got some good content. Dennis, you're awesome. But yeah, Stefan's just right. He does a good job and he does a lot. He puts a lot of time into editing and he does good work. I don't put as much time into editing as I can because I don't have all those cool editing ideas that this old Tony and Stefan and all those have. But not one of the in crowd, so it probably doesn't matter much. Anyway. Karen got some good content too. If you Machine NZ, if you get a chance, awesome coat hanger video. Really cool, Kevin. Really enjoyed that. Looking forward to seeing your engine running. Really am. I got some emails from people about Toolmaking Competition 2020. TMC 2020. Pretty exciting. Got some emails saying don't stress too much about prizes from people who probably should know better, but I'm probably going to call them out on and make them honour their commitments there. But we might be covered, which would be really nice. So I don't mind covering postage, but in these tough times, I don't know how quick it's going to be or anything else. I noticed that Germany stopped shipping overseas and China's started shipping overseas again, and some other countries certainly have stopped international mail. Take care, Rusty Knox. Good to see you. Drive safe. Don't run into anything. Watch out for bridges and stuff. So that could be nice. You actually have sun. You're actually allowed outside. That's awesome, Stefan. Things aren't too bad in Germany, obviously. They aren't real good, but they're not too bad. So it looks like the TMC 2020 is probably going to be a thing, and it's going to be a pretty big thing. So that's awesome. I'm excited about that. I'm excited to get some actual videos up and to see what people come up with. If you want some examples of how to edit videos, who put that up? Was it you, Joseph? Was it? No, someone back there said, how do you get videos down and how do you... Anyway, whoever it was, if you want some smart tips about how to edit a video so that it's watchable, you go and check out some of the top 3 or 4 videos in the tool making competition for the last 3 years. Go and check out Alistair, Adventures with a Very Small Lathe. Check out, who else is there? Andy Ash, go and check him out. Who else made really cool videos? JB from Oz, go and check him out. Some of those guys really know how to make a video and make it pop, and that's what the competition's all about. You can tell a fair bit about someone by the sort of video software they use. You see people change from being that shop nerd to being the cool kid on the block. I've seen that happen. I'll leave that one there. The person knows who I'm talking about. Vegas looks pretty good, and I'm going to go to it at any time in a minute. When Adobe shut me down for using software that may or may not be part of a current payment plan, I will probably go to Vegas because it looks pretty good. There we go. Did I say that out loud? There we go. Anyway, what's everyone else up to? JB is... Gary, you're right, but it's harder than it used to be. JB is making planter pots. Go Create's making horn blocks and bits for a locomotive. That's looking really, really nice. I can't wait to see that finish. It's going to be beautiful. Building 86Z28, Joseph, righto. Kevin's been making some of the brass parts. We're all looking forward to seeing that. Craig's fitting up a DRO in his mill. I should be doing that too. For the next little while, I'm going to get this pretty well finished, and I need to get another video out in my Patreon engine, which is okay. I'm waiting for a cylinder head and a piston, and it's still got to come from America because Clark's had some hold-ups with foundry stuff. I'm not confident about when it's going to come, so I'm still working out what to do about that. Good to see you, Brian. Antique oil lamps. Hope you find a genie, Gary. You deserve a genie. I think your package will be okay, Steph, and I can't wait to get to see that. I haven't got a tracking number, so I'm not sure where it is. Veggies inside sounds like a really good thing. Darren, good day. Tom's still busy with work and not getting shop time. You better find time for a competition video. You're a defending champion, Tommy. Kernow XCXP, g'day. Hope you're staying inside safe and not getting out and spreading everything. That sounds pretty cool, Mark. You're right. I knew about the mechanical calculators, Gary. Keep up the ghost and exploration videos coming. Kerno EXP, they're awesome. Pretty cool. Man Cave, g'day. Thanks for your note earlier. Appreciate that. Looking forward to those thread chasers, Stefan, and hopefully you can get a video, or you're allowed to make a video about those. That might be pretty cool. I'm sort of interested in those. So, what else is happening? What else is happening? Hey, this stuff here, right? I guess everyone sort of knows this. I'm not a chemist. Don't know a crap load a lot about this, but this is aloe vera after sun gel, right? You can still buy this in chemist shops. Right, here you can anyway. If you mix this 2/3 to 1/3, or 66 to 33%, with isopropyl alcohol in a bowl with a spoon, and it takes a bit of mixing up, and put it in a bottle, you've got hand sanitizer. There you go. Just putting that out there. It might be helpful to someone if you are a bit nervous about not having any, or it's doing your head in, or it's really worrying you. This might be pretty good, but you've got to use 99.9% isopropyl, which is most of it. The spray can one's got other stuff in it, but that's about all. We're in a little bit of a position that I work in a watchmaking shop and we have isopropyl by the gallon. So we've kind of experimented to get that recipe going. It's pretty good, and it needs to be mixed with a spoon and pretty thoroughly. And then you've got the actual stuff. So I'm just putting that there. However, if you're in a position where you've got a sink and a bar of soap, that's even better. Absolutely better. So there you go. That's this is something you should stock up on an isopropyl, which is 99% isopropyl, which is sort of, yeah, I don't know where you get that now, but at the moment we've got a stock of it. So there you go. Kind of excited to see Steven's project, but we can't, so we'll have to take his word for that. Talk about a cliffhanger. That's very cool. I hope you got some video there on the steam winder. Metho's all right. Dries everything out is the problem with metho. It's really hard on your hands. You end up with pretty durable hands. It's good on the soles of your feet if you were going to go hiking in bare feet. It might be good training for that. But it's not real good on your hands. It dries everything out and sort of hard on your nails and stuff like that. So anyway. I'll go and check it out. Mark. Yeah, metho's pretty hard stuff to drink too. That's white spirits to all your American guys at methylated spirits. It's alcohol with something in it to make you throw up. Basically, is about what it is. That's kind of what methylated spirits is. Not from experience, but I have known a couple of guys who had a metho habit that was sort of the end of them, put it that way. Denatured alcohol is probably what the Americans call it. Meth here has a purple dye here as well. Have I been doing anything else? Or have I just been concentrating on this lathe drive? I've sort of been concentrating on this lathe drive. However, what else have I been doing? Oh yeah, I've been working on the coat hanger project. You probably saw that. I'll give another pass by just in case anyone missed it, but my coat hanger project looks something like this so far. That's all you're getting. So I've been doing a bit of messing around with that, but there's a video coming, I guess, at some point. Yeah, you missed it. You haven't really. Yeah, that's all you're going to get. Also reading a book, which is pretty cool. I'm reading No Highway by Neville Shute. Paddy, Codanger 2020 is a hashtag that Rustanox set up. If you follow Rustanox, he's got awesome videos. He hasn't got so many, so you'll be able to catch up and subscribe to him without a lot of work. He wrote On the Beach, which is something I wasn't going to bring up, Paddy. On the Beach is kind of not a book or a movie that you want to watch this week. Let's put it that way. It's war propaganda, probably, and I think maybe his main reasoning was a bit of a push from the British War Office. I think that may have been something to do with why he wrote that. Just reading through some of his notes and his autobiography. Religious nonsense, love it. Yeah, a lot of religious nonsense, but he wrote some good stuff. And not by any means mainstream religious, which is kind of cool. Yeah, he was a model maker. He wrote Trustee to the Tool Room, which was a book about a gentleman who was a model maker. It's a very, very good story. No Highway, I'm reading. It's interesting. It's about the Royal Aeronautical Institute in the 40s and 50s, and some of the scientists that were there, with a little bit of romance thrown in and a little bit of crazy religion thrown in too. So it's kind of a good read, as long as you don't take it all that seriously. So I'm reading No Highway, really enjoying it actually. It's one of my mum's books. It's got her name inside the front cover, and I think it's probably a second edition, something like that, from about early 60s anyway. But it's a good read, I think. But yeah, religious nonsense. Some of his books are borderline religious crazy, but not religious as we think of it now, but as it dabbles in some metaphysics and some stuff that was a bit interesting. Complete Handbook of Sandcasting sounds like pretty hard work, Kevin, but we expect to see some sandcasting. Who else is reading books? That's interesting, Paddy. I didn't know that. New bio of Stalin. That sounds like fun. Jigs and Fixtures sounds like fun. Internal Fire is one of my favorites. That's an awesome book. That's an awesome read. I didn't hear gunshots, Tommy, but I hope you got it sorted out without that. Now, I know Paddy likes these crazy religious books. Oh my gosh, Darren, that's kind of crazy. But yes, it's probably typical or topical around your part of the world at the moment. That's awesome. This is one of my favorite Earth authors, right? If you want some crazy Victorian spiritualistic plot twisting amazing reading, I think you can't go wrong with Sarah. She wrote some stuff that the BBC turned into miniseries, and that's viewer discretion advised. I don't think any of you would be very into that, but you might be. But she wrote some stuff that, yeah, is kind of murder mystery crossed with spiritualism, crossed with ghost stories, crossed with some plot twists that PG Wodehouse would be proud of. So at this point, she's probably my favourite author. So if you're looking for something to read, go check it out. Craig's onto it. Yeah, mediums and such crazy stuff. Craig's obviously a BBC miniseries expert. If that's your thing, that's your thing. But yeah, too much for me at my age, if you really need to know. But anyway, that's fun. It's actually well written and the book's worth looking. The miniseries is a bit kind of crazy. There's another one too that they made into a miniseries. That was very, very good too. It was probably better than Tipping the Velvet, I think. But Paddy, you're probably too young for that stuff. But this is one of the better ones. This is called Affinity. It's about a spiritualist that's been locked up in Victorian prison, and it's got a plot twist, the end-all plot twist. You'll never ever guess the ending of this book, ever, ever, ever. Night Watch is pretty good, Mike. I'm impressed. Terry Pratchett wrote some good stuff, and yeah, it got turned into some really, really, really cool series and movies. He's literally the king of writing. Craig's right, really good stuff. As far as YouTube, hey Robert, good to see you. You joined late. We're looking at books. As far as YouTube series, there's a spin-off of that called Project Binky by Bad Obsession Motorsport. That's a good series if you really can't make the whole Terry Pratchett thing work in your head. Project Binky's worth a look. That's Bad Obsession Motorsport. I'd have completely tack altogether, but a different tack altogether, but it's a good series. If you're looking for something to fill up. fill up some space. I know some of you car guys will love that, and it's the only car show I really watch, and would never miss an episode. For me, that's up there with this old Tony. Giggle too much. Sorry. Behind the curve. Stefan, what's that about? More information. Ah, yes, behind the curve. Excellent. I've not actually seen it, but that's cool. If that's your thing, that's your thing. No, don't judge. We've already had this conversation, so I can tease him a bit about that. Chirpy, g'day. Good to see you. Thanks for email this week. There's totally spare time to spend on that stuff. It's absolutely, conspiracy theories are life. Yeah, if you haven't got a conspiracy theory in your life, you need to get one, and we need to find you one ASAP. You just email me if you haven't got one, and I'll attribute one to you, and yeah, you can go from there. Yeah. Yeah, Smart Dust is my favorite one at the moment. It's really good. Smart Dust is an excellent theory. You see, the way that works is that everyone has this virus that's going around, right? A coronavirus. Everyone's got it now. So they've released the smart dust into the atmosphere. And what the smart dust does is when it gets inside our system, it means that they can trigger this virus on and off. And this is only a practice run. So next time it's probably going to shut down whole countries, and is really going to be a bit nasty. But they're just trying it in various places just to make sure that everything works. And then when this is the Illuminati and the New World Order, and when they've worked that out, it's because that too many people believe in a flat Earth now, and they need to cover that up. So they're actually targeting these people. So smart dust is what this is. And you probably need to wear a magnet at the very least. But anyway, sorry about the telephone, the camera rock, but that's my pet conspiracy this week. But I got that firsthand from an Uber driver who really seemed to know what he was talking about. So I'm convinced. Yeah, we could go into that. I mean, you're probably a bit serious there, was it? But the reality is that unless you believe in a new world order or a Dan Brown series of events that are pretty close to impossible, there's no one to pin the blame on, and that's where you get stuck. Chirpy, you're probably right, to be honest. I had every intention. Take care, Stefan. Thanks for the flat Earth thing. I really appreciate the trigger there. I think that probably I had every intention of making an April Fool's video, making a tinfoil hat, but it never happened. Sorry. it's, it's awesome. But there you go. We can go into conspiracy theories. But if you want a little bit of escapism on things that you would like to believe, but you probably really can't, Sarah Waters' Affinity, good book when you run out of other things. Um, what else? What else? Gosh, we're over an hour already. Cheap colander will probably do as long as it's stainless steel. Yeah, it didn't happen. It didn't happen. It didn't happen. I haven't got any tin foil in the house, and I haven't got a hat that I can turn into um a hat into something that would offer any protection. There's a excellent website called stopabductions.com. The guy there makes personal protection gear, and awesome, Craig. I watched it. It was great. Yeah, that stopabductions.com is written by a gentleman who makes personal protection gear like that, and he's basically his testimonial section's absolute gold. Yeah. Thanks, Gary. Um, yeah, I take a lot of secret delight in looking at conspiracy theories and running them through my head and getting a chuckle out of them. So I'm not that person. I'm not by any means anyone who's paranoid about smart dust or anything else. That disclaimer's there. In fact, I'm not even paranoid about coronavirus being anything except something that's mutated across from animals, and it might have had some help from humans, but probably in the interest of what they thought was science, the same as anything else that's ever happened. So that's the human condition. And you can't lay the blame on anyone without getting us all in deeper crap than we already are. So at this point, you've just got to take it and laugh and enjoy the surrealness of people who actually believe that stuff. Yeah, that sounds like good stuff. Depends where you put it, Richard. Yeah. I don't know about taste, Paddy. I really don't think you should be tasting that stuff. It's kind of a bit interesting. I don't think it's good for you to be ingested orally. Yeah, reality is quite harsh, and it is harsh. And I mean, here in Australia, it's not contained any more than it's contained anywhere else. We're just a bit slow starting, and I hope that we've flattened the curve a little bit. And we don't have any neighbouring countries, which is kind of nice. Um, but having said that, I really worry about, especially the people in the US who um, Craig's right. Actually, we'll come back to that. Craig has a point. But worry about people in countries that have a conspiracy or a general distrust of the government more than we do in Australia, because it's going to get pretty scary for you, especially if you haven't got health care. Things are going to get nasty in the next 3 months. Just putting that out there. Craig's right though. I don't think when you look at conspiracy theories, especially flat Earth theories and things like that, there's absolutely no way. And moon landing theory, take the most basic conspiracy is that we didn't land on the moon. Now you can't tell me that anyone who was involved in that scenario or script or movie shoot or filming or deception or whatever you want to call it, got to the end of their life and didn't care or didn't owe anything to anyone. There must have been someone who got to the point that they had a week to live and thought, holy crap, I'm going to get my name in the papers. I'm going to come out with this, right? There's no way that in however many years it's been that someone didn't do that. So I declare that probably it's imagination, because there's no way in the world. What about the ice wall, Craig? And everyone knows that the International Space Station's held up with helium balloons because it's not high enough to be above gravity. And sometimes you can see the helium balloons. They're all things that come part and parcel with this. And then LSD was they banned LSD because not because it was sort of messed with your head, but because that was the way to the truth, and they didn't want people to find the truth. So the American military, I'm making little exclamation marks with my hands here. The American military kind of abolished LSD or made it terribly difficult to get, because to that way lies the truth and everyone finds out about the ice wall and what NASA really does, etc., etc., etc. However, you can't believe that crap. People do. Yeah, they Photoshop out the monofilament. That's right. It's a rubber band. But people actually think this. I sat next to a guy on my way to America in 2018, I think. Might have been last year. Big guy, same row, who told me that the reason that you have to put the window screens down when you take off from the plane and put them up when you land is because you don't want you to see the vapor trails, and you don't want to see that you're actually going around in circle and the sun's actually going sideways, etc., 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 and there's no curvature of the earth. I don't think he'd traveled very much, but he was fairly earnest about that. And despite the fact that it was actually a nighttime flight and we really probably needed to block out some of the sunlight so we could get some sleep, but that's just beside the point. But yeah, people actually think this stuff. There's a lot to be said for having a milling machine workshop. There's a lot to be said for having a milling machine too, but there's a lot to be said for being able to use files too. Anyway, it's a bit crazy, and yeah, you've got to find your position in the pecking order, the mental intelligence thing, and it's usually above that. But even here in Australia, we have people on street corners saying, look, here, take a flyer about why 9/11 never happened, because we've been flying model aeroplanes into brick walls and they don't fall over. There's all that stuff too. I mean, I worked for a while with a guy who was pretty keen that that was actually the thing, because if you do fly a balsa wood model aeroplane into a brick wall, the airplane smashes up, but the brick wall doesn't. You do the math on that one. But I mean, you could laugh, and Paddy, it is a bit funny, but that is kind of the theory behind that. And you'll find that there's a lot of people out there without a lot of engineering or mechanical knowledge. And we're very, very lucky to be people that actually have that background and knowledge and can reason things through. The actual reality with the whole model aeroplane experiment is that the model aeroplane isn't doing 800 kilometers an hour. I mean, it's probably just as simple as that. And Elvis isn't dead. No, probably not. We haven't heard that one for a while. That used to do this. See, these things aren't new. They're just things that that's awesome, Mike. I like the funny little pics. Keep them coming. But social media is a bit like that. Good to see you, Warren. Take care. Good to see you. Well, they probably are, but a lot of people with no sense at all. You're right, Dennis, and it's just a bit crazy, really. It's strange. You're going to get called Was forever now. Sorry, Warren. I hope it's an interesting phone call. And Kevin's off to bed. It's past his bedtime. It's a bit late. There's a lot of good things come out of social media, absolutely. Probably the one social media that's it's probably good to have is Instagram, because that way lies inspiration rather than disinformation. Take care, man cave. Good to see you. So that's where I'm at with it. I don't believe a lot of that stuff, but I can hold my own in any conversation on any of those topics. But there you go. Stephen Lang. Steve, Instagram's probably a pretty good thing, because I mean, my Instagram feed doesn't have any actual memes on it or any actual stupid pictures or anything like that. So that's kind of good. That's a pretty fair thing to do, Chirpy. I might start doing that. What sort of vinegar? Hey, Scott, good to see you. So that's where we're at. It's there's some cool things going on, but the reality is that you just got to get in your workshop and make stuff. Get a vision in your head of something you'd like to make and follow it through. Post pictures of it. And oh, Chirpy talks to girls now. Wow. You take care, Richard. Craig's right too. It takes a bit more effort to join in, and that's a good thing, I think. Instagram's good because if you've got a project that's happening, it's really a very, very good thing. Follow through. How's the Stewart engine going? Fridge. Shush. No progress on the Stewart engine. We put an oiler on it recently. I hope by the end of the week or this weekend there's going to be a video on making a cam for the camshaft, which is kind of exciting. I'm a bit interested in that. But I wanted to get some work done on this first, and I'm not sure whether this here is something that's really sort of a 2 steps back and 1 step forward thing, but there's a bit more work to be involved here than I was expecting. So we'll see what happens. Take care, John. Good to see you. I need to get a video out on the Stewart engine. It's looking pretty amazing. I've actually gone through and heat treated the cylinder head and the piston again because I'm not sure when the replacements are going to arrive, if they arrive. And it's not a sore point at all. It's just I'm waiting for bits and I need to be in the right creative mood to do anything with that. It's a seriously crazy big job, and there's a fair bit of research and development goes into that you don't even see. At least with this, I've showed some of what has been involved in actually getting this working, but it's pretty crazy. Yeah, getting it here. I mean, the stuff's cast. It's all ready to go. It just hasn't been posted, and that's not... Yeah, I can't even really say anything bad about that at all, because the reason it hasn't been posted is because of the goodness of a couple of YouTube creators' hearts. And I really do appreciate that. There's been a couple of really good things that I know are going to be included in that parcel, but they've been held up. So I can't really get upset about that even a little bit, and I'm not going to, except that it looks like shipping times out of America to Australia are going to be 6 weeks or so. Do you think, Tinker, there you go, do you think a bronze strip? I was going to use a piece of 01 or a piece of gauge plate on here with slotted holes so that it's adjustable. Do you think bronze? Look, that's what social media is all about. You start something like that, whether it's beyond your scope or not. Fridge and Craig, if it's... Look, you post some pictures online and people keep asking about it and bringing it up in conversation. You've got to keep making it, whether it's something you can handle or not. It's way out of my comfort zone, but I keep getting prompted about it. So you've got to keep making videos about it. So there you go. That's the secret to learning stuff. That's how it is. I've got some 01, like some gauge plate, that's about 1.6 mil thick, I think. And I was going to make a piece and I was going to bend it to match this radius. It's really awesome, Chirpy, and we're following along with that at bated breath, and we weren't going to say anything about that, but we really want to see some more videos. Where we're at with this, Tinker, I don't know if you saw it, and I will run over this again. The problem is that this top hole needs some adjustment. It doesn't matter much about the bottom hole because we can adjust that out here on the gears. So these holes need to be a set distance apart, and the middle one's not all that critical, just in the middle somewhere. But I'm going to machine a groove here, and I'm going to put a cover over the top of this, and I'm going to put slotted holes so that I can adjust this plate up and down. And I was going to make it out of tool steel and harden and temper it and polish it. That's what I think I was going to do. What does the strip plate work against? Yes, steel, which is this, Craig. I believe this is probably stainless steel. So that's where we're at with it. This hole's not really in the right spot. So I'm going to machine a groove here in the mill, probably tomorrow morning. And I'm going to make a cover plate to cover this with probably a lip on it, maybe, that can fit against the edge here or against this edge. And then I'm going to put a couple of little screws in here with slotted holes so that I can move this up and down 3 or 4 millimeters and get it adjusted right on top. And then I know that I can adjust the bottom one against that with the backlash here. And then the middle one's just going to go halfway between, and that's going to clear nicely, I think. So do you think softer material is a good idea? This is taking a bit of, this is just mild steel, and that's putting a groove in there already, and it's only been, what, 4 or 5 times it's been clicked in and out. So that's why I'm thinking something harder rather than something softer. But appreciate any input. Tom says hardened plate. I think I'm going to try that. We'll see how we go with that. You'll probably find out next week, because I'd like to have this done. I'd like to have this detent on, and I would like to be actually cutting gears by next week. But we'll see how we go with that. I've got a bit of nice, like 1.6 gauge plate that I was going to cut this out of, I think. So anyway, an aluminium plate, but your pins are quite big, yeah, and they're probably flat too rather than spring loaded, so they're not actually dragging along it. I know nothing either. I'm here to learn. Chris, depends if you don't want to see drag mark or happy to replace it easy. If I make one, I'd rather make it out of something decent that I'm never going to replace, because it's going to be a complicated program. It's going to be a complicated part to make this. It's not a particularly simple part. So I'd like to make something that looks good, and we'll see. This has got a point on it, which is probably not doing us any favors. I don't know if you can see that. It's kind of all blurry. Can't make that focus, not a hope. Sorry. But this really looks the part on it. How do you figure the spacing? Sheet of paper, Joseph. A sheet of paper in the gears, and that'll give us our gear spacing, and then we can clamp this in place then and use that to drill it. But probably I'm just going to mark them, and then if I make a separate plate, I'm going to take them off, and I'm probably going to put a round corner on them as much as I possibly can on each one, so that it just pops in there and out. That's easy. We'll see, Paddy. We'll see. We'll have a go at that. If we make a bit and it doesn't, then we'll see what happens. You may have a point there, and I have thought about that, but I think that might be the best. I don't have a CNC machine to do it, Robert. I wish I did, but no, I'm just going to make it by hand. I'm not even sure if I'm going to machine this to match it. I'm probably going to bend a piece to match it and then file the top. Ain't going to be easy, but nothing's easy, and it's worth doing. It's worth doing well. So that's where we're at with it. That's kind of how it is. There's a crazy amount of parts in this already, so hopefully next Wednesday we'll have this on and working. And the only other part then is some sort of a quick release for the end of the... And I'm waiting for the comments to say these have got to be synchronized, right? I'm going to line these up and show you while we're here close on camera that they're not synchronized. So when this is finally set up and we get the length right, which I think it needs about 3/4 of an inch off it, they will be, but at this point they're not. So before you say something about that. So I need a quick release though, so that we can just lift this, take this off and leave this on the machine. This has a couple of grub screws in here, and it's not really particularly good, and it just chowders up the end, and I really don't like it very much. And you don't know whether it's slipped or not, or whether it's moved. If you're cutting threads, it's kind of important. So what I could probably do is make some sort of a dog clutch arrangement the same as this, with a spring detent is what I think in here. So that's another system that we need to think about. So that's what I'd like to do, but I would also like to have some sort of a shear pin system in this, because if we run this into a problem or forget to put it out of gear or something like that, rather than twist everything up in what's probably going to fail is the lead screw nut, and I really don't like that much. So I would like some system to release this that's more fragile than the lead screw nut. So I think probably it's going to have a shear pin all the way through to retain it or something like that in brass. Yes, the belts will probably slip, but they probably won't either. I mean, I run pretty tight belts here because I'm machining pretty heavy. A lot of tool steel, and it requires a pretty heavy cut to chip break. So a tapered aluminium pin might work, or even a parallel aluminium pin, something like that. Don't mention CV joints, the Romans, or the flat earth. It's not the place for it. So that's something, this assembly here on the end where this connects is something that we need to give some thought to. But first is to get this sorted now the bits are here. I think aluminium pins are probably the way to go, to be honest. As long as everything's nicely mated and fitted together. Probably an 8 brass pin and snap off too if you had to, but I wouldn't like to try and test it. Chris, that sounds like a pretty awesome idea. What about a spline coupling, or even a pointed spline coupling that's going to split with a spring? Chris, yeah, now you've got me thinking. I like the sound of that. Plastic change will probably be the first in the chain to go, but maybe. I'm thinking about that. That would be really nice, actually. But I'm not sure how you would go making it work. Yeah, I'm thinking about that anyway. Interesting. And the other thing, running this thing, and I have actually used it to finish cuts in 4140. The other thing that is almost imperative is to have some sort of a pop out on this end so that when it gets to the end of the cut, it disengages rather than having to worry about popping it out or stopping the lathe. So that's another thing. And thanks, Tinker, for your email about that. But we need to work on that as well. I'm thinking about that. Anyway. Okay. Hand shaper related stuff one day in the future. Yes, I have some jobs to do when this is done. There will be. I've actually sort of got a job set up in the shaper at the moment, and I'm sort of thinking about it. I need to sit down and do it, and it's probably I'm just going to take a day and do it. The shape is good for a lot of very cool stuff, but I'm really looking at Maddie's workshop's keyway cutter and how it's upside down, and I think that that's the way to do that. So the first job with this thread cutting attachment is to make one of those. There we go. And Tom, while we're here, grinder videos, please. Yes. Yeah, I'm with Craig on that one. We need more grinder videos. This knocks off pretty easy, and if you just put a 1, 2, 3 block or something in here, it just pops out easy. It's got a fair bit of force when it's turning. You can't just pop it out with a finger. That's something that's not going to happen. Please, material science videos, absolutely. There's not enough of those out there. And we need to run the local market up for surface grinders because it's not high enough yet. So more content's fantastic. Anyway, we're an hour and a half here. I've covered my projects and videos. Fridge is off. It's been a big day. I'm going to call it a night too. I've got tomorrow at home because we're reduced trading hours, etc., 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 etc. I'm running out of battery too, so I'm probably going to put this back on the charge over on the other bench. Really appreciate you all hanging around for half hour. It's been great to have a talk, and it's great to discuss ideas about this, and it's great to have a laugh and some fun. And I hope you realize that if I am a bit mean to you, it is in jest, and probably I've got a fairly high regard for you and anyone who watches this. And we've jumped another 10 subscribers since the video started, so that's pretty awesome too. Anyway, take care. Thanks, Dennis. Thanks for checking in. Hope you're keeping well. Thanks, Joseph. Good to see you. Thanks, Stephen. Good night, Darren. Take care, Gary. Tom and Craig, good to see you. And we'll be in touch, everyone. Send us another email if you like, Chirpy. I didn't get to weigh that engine, and that's something I intended to do tonight, and I'm sorry about that. Thanks for your input, Chris, and you too, Mike. Be good. Go read a good book. Watch some TV. Some excellent Netflix documentaries that Stefan recommended, and come back wiser people. Be kind to each other. That's exactly right. Especially to me, because I'm sensitive, etc., etc., etc. Take care, guys, and more soon. I'm out.